It is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Happy New Year to all the Boilermakers out there. You're listening to the first 2022 episode of the Boiler Breakdown Podcast. Full crew tonight. I'm Tanner Lee along with Andrew Eiler and Evan Webb. First off, Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year.
Well, wish I could say Purdue sports got off to a better start in the new year, but we'll talk about that in the back half of the podcast. We don't have to.
Highs and lows of being a Purdue fan.
Oh, isn't it ever? I had to laugh last night on the message board. Somebody posted it, and they might be listening to this podcast. If so, I'm calling you out. They said Purdue just can never be good at basketball and football at the same time. I'm thinking, I still think we're pretty good at both right now.
Yeah, I think we're all right. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to basketball a little bit later, but.
But first, we got a football game to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Man,
we're only a W in a football game.
Not according to Paul Feinbaum
or Dick Vitale.
Evan, is this the most satisfying Purdue football win for like your life?
Ooh, man, pretty damn close. Probably. Yeah, this one was nice. This one was real nice.
Just what an instant classic of a bowl game. I mean, emotional roller coaster. I mean, if you got up to go get a snack or use the restroom in the third or fourth quarter, you probably missed a touchdown.
Yeah, that fourth quarter was ridiculous. The last like 6 minutes was stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend of mine, a coworker who's a friend who lives in Nashville, is a huge Tennessee fan. He was at the game. He was trying to convince me to come down, when the game was announced, but I didn't want to subject myself to 62,000 of those people. And mostly just after we kind of talked about it with the ATB podcast, which shout out to those guys for having Tanner and I on a couple weeks ago. Just our showing last time and the Music City Bowl I felt it was not worth me going down there and subjecting myself to potentially another.
I still have PTSD of it, to be honest.
Yeah, but when so he was at the game and I was watching on YouTube TV, so a little bit of a delay, and they score pretty easily, and then all of a sudden I get a text from him saying, "Oh, it's gonna be like that today, huh?" And I thought it was like, "Oh crap!" Like because we had the ball, and I was like, "Oh god, we threw a pick six or something." But all of a sudden, that's when Brock Thompson had his 70-yard touchdown or whatever. I was like, "All right, better start than what we saw in 2018."
Yeah, I was pretty nervous when they got out to a 21-7 start, and they were just killing us with their speed and the deep ball. I'm like, here we go again. But credit the guys. I mean, they clawed and scratched and fought, and at halftime, the Boilers had the lead.
Yeah, I mean, what was the score of the Auburn game? It was like 56-7, I think, something like that. I think they only scored once in the second half because they called off the dogs.
The final ended up being 63-14 was the final.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 56. Because I think we won the second half technically because they didn't do anything. But I'm pretty sure it was 56-7.
Well, that game was over 3 minutes into the game. Like it was like 21-0, like middle of the first quarter.
Yeah. So the fact that even like my friend who was there, he even texted me. He's like, "Congrats, you just gave us our worst second quarter all season, like worst offensive." And I was like, the fact that we held them scoreless was something. And I know Tanner, you and I talked about it on the other on the Tennessee podcast that our defense was definitely our biggest worry, just because we were missing Karlaftis, we were missing Mackey, we ended up missing a couple other guys that we didn't even know about at the time when we did that podcast. But our defense was schemed around Karlaftis, and the fact that we weren't going to have them. I don't know how we were going to respond in the fact just it was an offensive style that we had never seen. We're not going to see that in the Big Ten most likely. And just SEC speed is real. As much as we want to joke about it and hate on it, it's a legit thing, and they definitely. Thank God Hooker wasn't Henderson was
Hooker's the quarterback.
Yeah. Thank God he wasn't as accurate as he could have been down the field because it could have been ugly had he been a bit more accurate.
Yeah, for sure. But I thought a lot of guys stepped up on defense. You already talked about it. Karlaftis was out. Dean ended up being out. OC Brothers ended up being out.
We had what?
Mackey was out.
One guy out to grades, one opt out. We had a couple guys out for COVID, a couple with injury. So, you had guys like playing, double. And just because of the way their offense was rolling, we couldn't get subs in. You had guys playing, twice as many snaps as they're used to. And so, it definitely took a toll on the guys. You could tell by the end of it. You can talk. We have a conversation about, were the injuries legit or not. I mean, I think some definitely were. Maybe a few of them might have been. I think one of Lawrence Johnson was definitely a just sit down. But I think a lot of Jalen Alexander's were legit because I think he was strong. I mean, he led the team in tackles or something. He was everywhere.
Had 20 tackles, I believe.
Yeah,
19 or something.
19.
Yeah, I just think it was. I mean, these guys were just gassed.
Yeah, and I mean it's a rule that needs changed or altered in football. I mean, not only college but pro. I've seen teams do it. I remember at a Colts-Titans game one time, and the Colts used to be so up-tempo. The Titans literally just started falling down because, I mean, the refs can't say, hey, he's faking it for sure. So until they alter that rule, I mean, maybe if the player comes off the field, he has to sit series or something.
I was talking with my friend, and he was saying the same thing. Is like they should make it a rule. Like if you come off, if you are injured, you are out that drive.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that would definitely, I'm not saying. I mean, I think a lot of ours were legit. I think they were. But obviously, I think there was definitely some that was, especially towards the end. But I think that'd be just overall for football, that'd be a better rule change.
Yeah, I wanted to hit on some of the defensive guys I thought that stepped up. I know you talked about a lot of guys playing double the amount of snaps what they're used to. Saw some guys really get their first action, but I thought Jack Sullivan and Demarcus Mitchell, I thought those guys stepped up huge. I mean, we'd been hoping for a performance like that on Mitchell all year, and we never had really seen it. And he kind of filled in for the role from George. I mean, I don't know if he ever actually had a sack, but he was putting pressure on Hooker all day long.
I think he did have a sack. I think we had 2 sacks, and he was one of them.
Okay.
Mitchell and Sullivan.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, and then, like you said, Jalen Alexander was great. And Sanusi Kane, man. I mean, for a guy who hadn't played much this season and he played all 100% of the snaps out there for a redshirt freshman, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess that size and speed.
What the safety? I think he was a JUCO. Jefferson.
Jefferson.
He had a huge.
I think he moved to corner. It was a safety, but I think he filled in at corner, maybe some corner. I don't remember really seeing him, or I don't know where he was lined up. I guess.
But he's the one who made the stop on 4th down in regulation.
Yep.
When Heupel was trying to be ballsy and making stupid coaching decisions, but
their fan base don't want to bring that up.
No.
They just want to talk about getting hosed by the refs or all the penalties getting thrown, but they don't want to talk about how their coach opted out of extending the lead in the 4th and went for a 4th and 1. And then towards the end of the game, when they just need to probably get 10 more yards, maybe 15 more yards to get in comfortable field goal range, he chucked it deep twice.
Which I'm not even sure. The chucking deep, I'm not even sure that's even Heupel. That could have just been Hooker.
Could have been.
Which I don't know.
That infuriates me. Like Purdue does it too on like
3rd
and 2.
Or
let's just throw it like 35 yards downfield. I don't know, waiting for a penalty. I know.
Or we'll have drives where we'll do 3 straight runs. It's like, what the hell are we? I think we even did it in that game. I was just like, what are we doing? This is not who we are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. But I think. Yeah, I couldn't believe that they did that because I was like, they had all their timeouts. So I could not believe they didn't try just a little slant or even just running it. I mean, we did a decent job at stopping the run, but not like we weren't stuffing them by any means. So I'm really surprised that they didn't try and make it easier.
They hit on a few big time runs, long runs. Yeah. But speaking of the run game, I thought that was key to Purdue's win, at least in the first half. Purdue ran the ball about as well as they had all year.
Yeah, kept them honest. I mean, it was good to have Horvath back in there. Just his size was awesome to have finally. It wasn't didn't light up the stat sheet, but I thought he had a pretty good last game as a Boilermaker.
Yeah, that screen pass to him was beautiful. I mean, he caught it and ran downhill full speed, and he didn't want to go out of bounds.
No.
They kind of forced him to, but definitely got to miss him next year. I thought King Doru, though, had some good runs.
Yeah, I thought he looked good.
I'm interested to see if we go shopping in the portal for one more, since Christopher Brooks backed out and went to BYU. But
Samson James, though, will become eligible.
Got some freshmen coming in, too, but it's hard for a freshman usually to come in and see a lot of time at the running back position in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, offense, we could talk the whole podcast about our offense, I think. I mean,
Did you guys see so Brock Thompson with I don't know how many catches for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns or something? Did you see him on crutches after the game?
Yeah.
I knew they kept I mean, obviously they talked about it the entire game if you were listening about how he's gonna have knee surgery, but I didn't know it was both knees.
Both knees.
Yeah, and then those commentators had like 3 storylines and just
Yeah.
rode them the entire 5 hours of that game. It was Tennessee's offense, Aiden O'Connell's a walk-on, and Purdue's without half their team is what it felt like all their storylines were.
I was waiting for Zach Edey used to play hockey and Isaac Haas's shoe size. Those were the 2 I was waiting on to come out.
The bingo card.
But yeah, Brock, that was just all guts. I mean, I was talking to my dad afterwards. I'm like, it's recency bias, but I'm like, we remember the Foster Farms Bowl with Elijah Sindelar and Anthony Mahongu gutting it out when he broke his collarbone.
Guys, this was an Anthony Mahongu performance, but I couldn't remember how to spell his name. So
you could have just said the French wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I mean, Thompson's performance was even a little better than that, I'd say. And then O'Connell's performance was right there with Sindelar's, even though Sindelar was getting it out through a torn ACL. But it's just. And of course, it sweetens the deal when both of those performances ended up in dramatic wins. Mm-hmm. But Thad Mooney said, "Did you know his knees were messed up? Did you know AOC was H-string?" Yeah,
honestly, I did. And until they said, I did not know that about the whole.
Incredible.
Then they repeated it about 50 more times during the game.
But I thought maybe it's just because December 30th. Seems so long ago, even though it's only January 5th. But I swear, I thought Tanner, you had sent that or tweeted out the depth chart from like 4 years ago where it had everybody on it.
You did.
And O'Connell was 8th.
Well, it was because it was during that game because it was Kyle Charters.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So it was after the game.
Oh, was it the IU game when they were the walk-on too? And they had the walk-on quarterback. Was that what it was? I feel like I saw that.
No, it was during.
It was during the Motor. It
was during the
Motor City Bowl. You want to call it that? It's not the Motor City Bowl.
I thought you were saying I personally tweeted out. I'm like, I knew he was down there. But didn't they say on the game, if I'm not mistaken, he actually was not even like, since he was so far down the depth chart his first year, he was receiver on the practice squad, not even a quarterback.
On the scout team. There's the only way he's going to be on the field.
Yeah. Wow.
He's not fast.
You could almost make a movie about this. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions, but I knew one was coming soon. I mean, not only had he gone 200 plus throws without one, but you're without David Bell and Milton Wright, your top 2 targets. So you're going to have to trust some guys that you probably don't have quite the chemistry with. Mm-hmm. He threw 3 picks, but I mean, my God, he threw 5 touchdowns and well over 500 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the first quarter for work, and I remember I think I only saw one of his interceptions. I just remember it being fairly bad.
It was the third one, where I think he thought Anthrop was running in and he ran out. But it was so off. It was wow, all 3 were pretty bad. His first one was in the end zone. Second one was on an out route by the sidelines. All 3 were pretty bad. But
there was the one. I think it was the second one. The linebacker was right there, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I can't speak to what he saw, but it was just like, that looked pretty bad.
But he made some big throws when it counted. So pumped to have him back next year for 6th year. It's nice knowing who our quarterback's going to be going into the season for the first time in what feels like a decade.
Who would have been the last quarterback? I guess Sindelar didn't even start, or not Sindelar. O'Connell didn't even start game 1 this year, so it's not even like we're having back-to-back starters.
No, the last back-to-back starter was Sindelar, 17 and 18.
I know. I'm saying it wasn't even this year that O'Connell won. Yeah.
Well,
when's the last time we had a quarterback start and finish back-to-back seasons? Painter?
Well, technically, start and finish at Blau in 2016.
In 27? No, start and finish 2 seasons.
Actually,
he didn't start that. Never mind.
Yeah, O'Connell didn't start. So
I don't. You'd have to go back to Curtis Painter, I believe, because Turbush started 2011, finished
Marv, Turbush,
but then 2012, Turbush was academically suspended the first game, so Marv started, and Marv ended up finishing that season, and then Henry started 2013, but then it was Etling by the end. Then it was Etling and Appleby. Then Appleby and Blau. Then it's kind of like the defensive coordinator situation, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Going through 9 now in 14 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But this bowl game was fun. Just fun football game. I mean, it was the highest rated bowl game outside of the New Year's 6 bowls.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was. I mean, if you if you have no interest in either team, it was the perfect game because there was high scoring it was back and forth, especially at the end, just both teams throwing haymakers. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, it was obviously super anxiety inducing near the end, but I mean, that's what we wanted. I mean, that's what we talked about on the Tennessee podcast. It was like we didn't want punters. We just wanted to just air it out all game long. And I mean, we haven't talked about Payne Durham. His touchdown was David Bell and Rondale Moore-esque of just not giving up. And I don't know what Tennessee guys. I mean, I assume they thought he was close to out of bounds, and it was probably one of the slowest touchdown runs I've ever seen.
He was gassed.
I thought for sure he was going to fumble at the end. I thought.
Well, what would have pissed me off was number 22 was out of bounds and came back in, and darn near tried to force that fumble. You can't go out of bounds without getting pushed out of bounds and come back in.
I don't think that matters for defenders.
Does it not? Okay.
I don't think so. Unless now, had there been a fumble and all that, I don't know. But I don't think as a defender, I don't think it matters for that. All right. But I don't quote me on that. Mooney, our resident rules.
Yeah, he always looks it up for us.
To let us know.
But yeah, it was just a wild game, entertaining game. Fun for all the Purdue fans who made the trip down. Shout out to the Purdue band member who kept his composure.
Better than a lot of us.
The Tennessee fans are still toxic, still crying. Almost a week later, still crying about it.
Oh my God!
I've collected
SEC
them.
media.
I've collected them in this glass, and I'm thoroughly enjoying them.
Hey, Paul Feinbaum said, put some graphic up and gave Tennessee the win. Didn't even give us the field goal either.
Yeah.
What makes me laugh about this whole situation is, okay, his knee was not down. So my guess is the ref kind of not only did he thought his forward progression stopped, he probably blew it thinking his knee was down because that's what it looked like in real time. But the replay shows it wasn't, and he did get the ball across the goal line, but after his teammate pulls him across, which is illegal.
Right.
And everybody's acting like if Tennessee scores their game over.
Yeah.
Purdue was still getting the ball back. Tennessee had barely stopped Purdue all game.
And
why are they so confident they were going to stop them?
When you watch it in slow motion, it's like clear, like, oh yeah, he's moving. But if you watch it in real time, where it's like, oh, he actually is stopped for
a
like
good
second half.
Yeah,
like, yeah, he's not moving. And all of a sudden, now he is. Like,
part of me, even though I am enjoying all the crying and the whining, part of me wishes that would have counted. We would have got the ball back, scored, went for 2, and beat them. Then what would they be complaining about?
No, they were. I mean, I was getting. I said my friend. He's probably not. I don't know if he's listening or not, but he was telling me that this game had an asterisk next to it well before the fourth quarter, just because of all the PIs and all that stuff. So
we could have ended the game a lot earlier. We had a few chances on fourth down and didn't stop them. So
our red zone offense was. I mean, I was a little worried when we were on King. It was like this is not going to be enough with this. But thankfully,
the second quarter.
Thankfully we held them in the second quarter.
And how about them taking out our punter? We could complain about that.
Mm-hmm. Receivers not being set on their touchdowns. Yeah.
I mean, we just knew they were going to be overly aggressive on their defensive backs and hold and stuff, and they're not disciplined, so we took advantage of it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But I think we should hit on it now. The defense coordinator, it was official today, Brad Lambert, who was only in 1 year down at Purdue, leaving to be the defense coordinator at Wake Forest. Kind of bummer. News. I don't think it's devastating by any means, but still hate to see a guy go who's only been with the staff 1 year and had decent amount of success this year.
What's his connection? Has he been there before? Is he from? Okay.
He was the D coordinator for like 10 years there.
Yeah, he was there for a long time before he went to Charlotte to be the head coach.
Okay.
And his wife still lives in Charlotte.
Interesting.
So,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, knowing that, it makes sense. And maybe it's one thing. I don't know how old he is. He looks old.
I think he's been around.
Yeah, I think
he's a defensive coordinator in the ACC.
Yeah.
10 years. I mean, to get to that point, he probably was working his way up for a while.
Yeah. I mean, this could be just hopefully he can stick it out until retirement sort of thing. Just, I mean, at a familiar place and in area that he knows really well. And I'm sure he's got obviously a ton of connections in that area for recruiting or whatever it may be. But a bit of a head scratcher, I thought, just because, I mean, I feel like we've got so much momentum going into next year that it's like, I mean, hopefully only building up, and I'd love to see kind of the defense stay intact. But I mean, you even saw some defensive players kind of tweeting, not again, here we go again sort of thing. But hopefully we don't lose any guys because of it. I don't think we will, but knock on wood. But as long as we can keep Hagan and English and some of the other guys, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, Brian Newbert today on Golden Black on the chat made it sound like he expects English to be promoted to the play caller, Hagan keep the co-defensive coordinator title, and then fill into how many ever position coaches they need to fill in.
Yeah, I think. I was thinking about that. I was like, I was thinking we should do Hagan. We should promote Hagan. But then I was like, man, if that's so, he'll probably Braun will want him in the booth. I think Hagan just has such a fiery personality that I think he's perfect for on the field, kind of like a Nick Holt was, where his attitude was infectious and kind of sets the tone. So at the end of the day, as long as we win and they're all getting paid
right
well, I hope everybody's happy and winning.
English was a defensive coordinator somewhere else before, wasn't it? Like Michigan.
I think he's been DC at Michigan. He's been defensive back coach at Florida. He's been head coach at Eastern Michigan.
He's head coach at Eastern Michigan. I thought he was a defensive coordinator somewhere else.
In Hagan, I looked. He's been co-defense coordinator at a lot of stuff, but I don't think he's ever been solely the DC.
I don't think so either.
Adam Bartels from Full Steam Ahead podcast, he texted Tanner. He said that he is 56 years old. So hopefully I can see this being a gig he takes for a couple of years. And
Lambert?
Yeah. And kind of just rides off into the sunset.
Yeah, I know Wake Forest head coach just got a pretty lengthy
they had a pretty good year too.
They won 10 games.
They won 10 games, which is unheard of in Wake Forest, it feels like. So there's obviously a lot of momentum there. And this is what it
ACC is probably a little easier conference than the Big Ten, I'd say.
Yeah, you've got really one team that you're competing against. Like that's a powerhouse versus you could argue 3 or 4.
I think Crystal Ball will get Miami, Florida back pretty fast, but we'll see. Florida State should be a lot better than they are, but that's a topic for another day. I just hope we don't lose too many more coaches, but Newbert made it sound like some others might be leaving too.
In Brom's tenure, nobody on the offense has left, I don't think. Really? Maybe a tight end coach or something.
I mean, you had
special teams. Offense between Shepard, Brian Brom, Barkley. Like the wide receiver, the co-offensive coordinators, and running back coach.
Actually, Barkley was one I was worried about because he played at Wake Forest, didn't he? Yep. That's why when Lambert was, I was like, oh boy, I don't know if he'll try and I don't know what their situation is.
I don't think they have any other openings.
Okay,
as far as I've read. But there's rumors that he might try to bring Adams, our cornerback coach, with him.
Because he came with him. He came from Charlotte, basically. Coached with him at Charlotte.
Coached with him at Charlotte, and then Lambert came from Marshall. But they had the connection from Charlotte. So
I think we're in a better spot now than we were last year at this point. I feel like Brom's figured out what he wants, like a good mix. I think it definitely. It sounds like it was all a collaborative effort. So I think. I wouldn't be surprised if he even asked, the current staff guys who want to stay on, who do you like, who do you know, sort of thing. But I think we're in a much better spot to find someone that will work this time around.
The one potential bummer I was reading about, because Brian Newbert kind of hit on it in the chat, and Adam Rittenberg of ESPN that covers the Big Ten also brought up on Twitter was if Notre Dame's going after Alabama's wide receiver coach, and if they swing and miss on him, Demarcus Shepard's probably their next target. So,
yeah.
I mean, he and Barclay, and even I think Brian Brown, I think they've sniffed other opportunities these past few years, and they haven't got any. I mean, it's rare to keep a position coach this long anyways at a program like Purdue.
All three of them for 5 years.
But I got to think the wide receiver coach opening would be more attractive than most of the other positions.
Yes. Just because of the depth we have and just the
offense we run.
Yeah, offense we run, the reputation we've built in the last couple of years. Man, if he goes to Notre Dame, that's going to be 2 coaches that I really like at Notre Dame. It's going to make it a little bit harder to hate them, but still not. I still won't have too much trouble hating Notre Dame.
Ultimate Boiler giving us a wave on YouTube. Hey, Ultimate Boiler, thanks for hanging in there with us tonight. Appreciate it. Yeah, if Shepard happens to leave, I know I texted you guys this earlier. I'd love to see him take a swing at Taylor Stubblefield.
Yep,
he's the wide receiver coach at Penn State right now. I'm guessing he's making pretty decent money there. Don't know if we can match that or not, but I mean he's one of the Boiler greats, so that'd be cool.
Do you think
take a shot?
So Shepard's co-offensive coordinator.
True.
So would that be a bump up to give him a chance? And like you said, Brian Brom has sniffed around other offensive coordinator jobs. I mean, I don't think you're going to make the wide receivers coach the play caller.
No.
But
it's weird.
A title raise.
It's weird, these titles, how important they are. I guess until Brom came to Purdue, I never really realized how much like a co-coordinator title was important, and all of a sudden it's like a big deal.
I'd never really heard of that until all of a sudden it's co, and then this year it was triple defensive coordinators.
Yeah, which I guess is a blessing in disguise now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully in a week or two we'll have the answers, and we'll be able to report back on the podcast. Ultimate Boiler on YouTube hadn't heard anything about Shepard. When did this come out?
Today.
Some rumors today. It was Brian Newbert of Gold and Black Illustrated in the chat mentioned Notre Dame possibly going after him if they strike out on Alabama's wide receivers coach. And Adam Rittenberg of ESPN also tweeted something similar. So, yeah,
it's out there.
It's out there. So where there's smoke,
surprising.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised that he's been around for 5 years at Purdue because I thought he would have moved up.
And he's a Fort Wayne guy too. Notre Dame probably wants to attack that market if they can. I mean, I know they don't take tons of Indiana guys, but usually if there's a couple primetime ones, they usually get in.
Usually there's always one or two guys in Indiana every year that are worthy in quotations of the Notre Dame offer, and they usually are. Got probably good batting average. I mean, I thank God that they didn't offer Brady Allen because who the hell knows what would happen there. But
they were interested. Them and Ohio State, but COVID kind of ruined him going to those camps. So, yeah. Did you guys happen to see Tom Dienhart's offensive defensive awards?
I did not.
Okay, let me bring it up here real quick. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let's see here. Of course, I got to scroll down.
I'm trying to remember. Now, I should have done research about this, but I didn't. Going back to our preseason pod about different who was going to have the most whatever. I think I said Payne Durham's got the most touchdowns, which I was way off on that.
Next year.
Yeah.
Well, his defense awards, the MVP, Karlaftis. Hard to argue that. Guess who he said for breakout player?
On defense?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Graham.
That would have been a good one, but
that would have been, breakout player.
Jack Sullivan.
Another good guess.
Wasn't Jefferson, was it?
Branson Dean.
Oh, okay.
Said he had 9.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, in addition to 26 tackles. Best performance.
Ooh, was it Graham?
Yeah, didn't he have a couple picks in a
he had a slew of 3 or 4 games where I was like, man, if he continues this, he might be gone after this year.
He had that big game against Nebraska, but that wasn't the game he mentions here.
Was it Karlaftis?
Wasn't Karlaftis.
Jalen Alexander in the Music City Bowl?
Yep. 19 tackles, 10 solo. Yeah. But he also said hats off to Kim Allen, 2 picks against Iowa.
That's right. Yeah, Cam, he's solid. I'm glad that we're going to have him back another year.
Play of the year. What do you think he said play of the year was on defense?
That 4th down stop on the Music City Bowl?
Probably should have been, but he picked something else.
I feel like Jalen Graham, against Nebraska, did he have a fumble recover touchdown or an interception touchdown or something?
Against Nebraska, yeah.
That was a pitch.
Play of the year. Is it from either the Iowa or Michigan State game?
No.
It's
in a loss.
Defensive play in a loss?
I have no idea.
It's Karlaftis' 56-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown against Wisconsin.
That's right. Okay.
The place was rocking because it tied it up.
Yeah.
Key injury was, of course, Corey Trice.
Yeah.
Top newcomer.
Sanusi Kane.
I don't even know who was it?
I mean, or could it be transfers or transfers included?
I would assume.
He has a lot of them mentioned. Jamari Brown, Chris Jefferson were mentioned, but he went with another guy.
Said Brown was my guess.
Ultimate Boiler got it right here. Adrian Jenkins.
Forgot about him.
And he also says, how about Demarcus Mitchell's fumble/deflection against Tennessee? Yeah, that was a big play.
Yeah, that was
at the
huge
time.
in the half. So
Yeah.
I think I remember texting you guys like we have to get a stop here because they get the ball after half, and we did.
And Purdue scored.
Yeah, I just wanted to stop. I didn't even care about a score.
Biggest surprise, he mentions Kadron Jenkins, Jamari Brown, Lawrence Taylor, but he said he's going to go with Kieran Douglas.
Okay.
Because after
Is he a walk-on?
He has fifth-year senior walk-on. After Smissy went down, Douglas kind of stepped up in his role. 66 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a pick. Players to watch in 2022.
Jalen Graham.
He includes four of the transfers, but he said keep an eye on incoming freshman Joe Strickland.
I'm really intrigued to see what he does. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people want him to be what Karlaftis was his freshman year, but I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't think he's big enough. But I think, I'm actually really intrigued to see if we can get Yanni Karlaftis into the mix because we never really saw him this year at all, except in blowouts.
Yep.
Or the UConn game was a blowout, but
right.
So hopefully we can. I think he did definitely need to get bigger. I think that injury he had in high school still bugging him a little bit, but we'll see.
Offensive side of the ball, real quick. MVP.
David Bell.
Correct, David Bell.
I mean, you could argue
O'Connell.
I mean,
considering what he just did at the City Bowl.
How about breakout player?
It's gonna be Brock Thompson.
Milton Wright.
He went with Aiden O'Connell.
Oh.
He said he had already broken out to a degree, but he took things to the next level.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, is he the number 2 returning quarterback in the Big Ten right now?
Oh, I think no doubt.
Yeah. Yes, but it's a wide margin between number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then you can make argument. Tanner Morgan's probably behind him. Sean Clifford, 2 quarterbacks.
Is he back again? Clifford?
Yeah, he decided to come back. That
should make.
Ultimate Boiler said Greg Long MVP for the beer chug against Iowa.
Did you guys buy that shirt from the shop yet?
I have not. No,
I have not, but Thad Mooney has.
No.
Best for performance.
Oh, this
David. It's got to be a David Bell.
He's one of
Iowa.
Was it Aiden O'Connell Music City Bowl? Brock Thompson Music City Bowl? Wow. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 you could probably argue.
I mean, how many 200-yard games did David Bell have this year?
I mean, he said Aiden and David Bell both had some spell-binding performances, but Thompson's effort in Music City Bowl was one for the ages, playing on 2 bad knees that will require surgery.
And he had a torn meniscus. I think that's what they said too.
That says the Greg Long shirt is glorious.
Hey, shop shirts are soft as hell.
How about play of the year?
Ooh. Play of the year.
Payne Durham's touchdown in the 4th quarter of the Music City Bowl.
That was it? Oh, okay. I thought it might have been David Bell's making the Michigan State player go through a spin cycle on the sideline. Oh, I forgot about this.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Ultimate Boiler says that Thompson played on 2 bad knees and lost a childhood friend the day before the game.
I think he had something written on a towel or a wristband, and they asked him what it meant, and he said, he'd lost a friend the day before, which is just awful.
And I thought he said something really cool in the post game. He said he doesn't know how he played through the injuries throughout the game, but he said he was trying to give it all for Jackson Anthrop because he said this guy deserved to win the game. I just thought it was really cool how he was.
I'm not gonna lie. I think because I had to listen to bad timing with girlfriend's family in town and girlfriend not being a Purdue grad, so not really giving a rat's ass about the game. I'd listen to the kick on the radio, which was cool to hear Newton.
Yeah.
And those guys go crazy. But I believe they interviewed Thompson right after the game, and I was tearing up. I'm not gonna lie, just because you could just tell he was just absolutely spent and just what it meant to him, and it was pretty cool to listen to. It was either him or Finner, and I can't remember. But shout out to both those guys.
Yeah, Finneran was nails that game.
He could have been a newcomer. I guess he had a couple rough spat.
I forgot about this play too. Yeah, what
Ultimate Boiler says Jackson's play against Michigan State could have been in there for play of the year too. Yeah. Key injury was Horvath. I don't think there's any top newcomer was an interesting one.
It wasn't Brock Thompson.
He said a case can be made but he went with somebody else because you got to think Brock going into the Music City Bowl at 270 yards.
Yeah, I think I heard Boiled Sports say something like you would have thought that he had a lot better stats, but his stats were pretty pedestrian going into that game.
Right.
Top newcomer.
I don't think you guys are gonna get this one.
Well, give us a freaking chance.
I think I'll give you a chance.
It's not Witt, the offensive, the guard.
And Andrew proves me wrong and gets it right. Tyler Witt. Yep.
I forget he was a newcomer. I forgot why I thought he had played.
I probably wouldn't have guessed him had you said, like, oh, you're not going to get this.
He liked a couple of our tweets.
Biggest surprise.
I mean, you could make a case for O'Connell.
Yeah, O'Connell.
You can make a case. He didn't pick him, but I mean, I would say his level of play was definitely a surprise. But this guy's production, I agree with his pick here.
Biggest surprise.
Milton Wright?
No, that was a good one, though.
I mean, because he definitely turned it on. I mean, at the beginning of the year, it was a little like, ooh, boy, this kid.
This is just offense?
Yeah.
Can you say, like, the entire offensive line?
Was it Jackson?
Jackson Anthrop.
Okay. He really hadn't done much the last 2 years.
Yeah, he finished this year with 53 receptions for 570 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also ran it 21 times for 81 yards, and he fielded most of the punts for the year. So
that's a good one here. Forgot about him. We didn't even talk about him. We were talking about running backs.
Dylan Downing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, player to watch for 2022.
Garrett Miller.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
No, he went with more of an unproven guy.
Abdur Rahman Yassin.
That's a good one too, but even more underproven than him.
More unproven than him?
Mm-hmm.
He's got like 4 catches.
I know.
I mean, Colin Sullivan had 2 catches this Music City Bowl? That was his first catch of the year.
Deion Burks, who made 1 catch there in the Music City Bowl for 26 yards.
Yeah.
He said he looks to be poised to become a key member of a 2022 wideout unit that also bolstered by incoming transfers Tyrone Tracy and Elijah Canyon? Yeah, Canyon from Auburn. So, I mean, it's crazy to think if Milton Wright can't play next year, Tracy might be wide receiver number 1 or Brock Thompson. But, yeah, there's going to be a full wide receiver room again.
And before the game, I was thinking, like, this game doesn't matter. Just be competitive. I just don't get blown out. That was my big thing is, like, don't have a repeat. And the fact that we did win, like, it was like, wow, like, I am so much more excited for next year. I mean, if we would have lost, I probably would still be pretty excited. But, like, just the fact that we won was like, we could do some damage next year, assuming everything, like, we don't lose important guys or no one gets hurt, obviously, which is you can never predict. But, I mean, with the schedule we have and, like, I mean, the receiving corps showed that, as long as everyone can stay healthy, we'll obviously miss David Bell and some of those guys, and even Milton Wright if he can't come back, which I hope he can. I think we'll be all right. And assuming, because O'Connell, I mean, like I said, have the utmost confidence in him compared to the fact I didn't even want him to be starting at the start of this year. So,
yeah, I mean, 71% completion percentage on the year, which was a Purdue record, 4th in the country. It's coming back, plenty of experience, weapons, like you said. Offensive line that's starting to get experience and improved a lot throughout the years. So, yeah, if Purdue can beat Penn State week 1 on September 3rd, watch out. Because they might. It's not, I mean, it's not crazy to think Purdue might win 9 or 10 games. I know that's like in the regular season. I mean, that's, I mean, I think Purdue should be a contender in the West. Should be,
yeah. I mean, Ultimate Boiler has a comment there. Mershawn Rice.
Yep.
Have him back out there.
Yep.
I mean, TJ Sheffield, hopefully I don't know if we saw anything about his
He's just
injury.
in the boot. He's in the boot. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hell of a catch that he made.
Yeah, I don't know. I hung on to that.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yassin will be back. I mean, you get these 2 transfers. I mean, Sullivan, like you said, Preston Terrell, who played a little bit.
Which it was funny, they mentioned on the broadcast how Terrell was trying to come in for Thompson a couple times, and Thompson would wave him off, saying he was going to stay in the game.
Yep. I mean, Ultimate Boiler said, "Dude, Ross State will be nuts when Penn State comes to town."
That's got to be a night game, right? I mean, it's gonna have to be a night game.
I would think. I mean, could it even be a candidate to be moved up like Northwestern was a couple of years ago?
You think Purdue will be preseason ranked?
Wouldn't shock me.
We should be ranked. I don't know when I'm assuming the final AP poll comes out. What, next Tuesday?
Yeah, if we're not ranked 9-4, I'll be pretty disappointed.
Especially, the fact that we have a better record than Penn State.
We had no bad losses.
No bad losses, and we weren't blown out either.
Ohio State was the worst.
Yeah.
But everybody got Ohio State
yeah.
Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't really count.
Before we move on to basketball, Thad Mooney got back with us about rule, the rule, out of bounds rule. As I stated during the game, I no longer know rules in with some of the calls and reviews during the game. The defender came back in bounds with pain. Seems legal. Only thing I could find was the defenders stepping out of bounds on kickoffs takes them out of the play. I don't know anymore. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like Thad and I have talked many times. What is a catch anymore? Because we don't know.
Well, we had the whole thing during the game where Sullivan's catch wasn't a catch, but then there was a catch question for Tennessee. I was like, if they call this a catch, and Sullivan's catch was like, I don't like this is. I think they.
And then Sheffield's made me nervous when they started reviewing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ultimate Boiler said rank them both and have College Game Day come. I do know Notre Dame plays at Ohio State in week 1 next year, but I don't know if that's on a Saturday or a Sunday or the Monday. I don't know off the top of my head.
I forgot that it's Sunday or Monday games.
Because a lot of times Notre Dame gets a Sunday or Monday game if it's on the road, so that wouldn't shock me. But if not, maybe that's a game day chance. It'd be sweet to have game day back for the first time since 2004.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Biggest question. Does the football team get new uniforms next year?
Well, we kind of got a new one this year with alternate gold, but yeah, it's I would say it's time. But that's Nike's decision, I guess.
Yeah,
I want new basketball uniforms.
Yeah, I would rather have new basketball before we have new football.
I think our basketball uniforms. they're not awful, but
it's been the same for like.
I just look back when Purdue got really good and 08, 09, 10 and got the now looking back, the jerseys were huge and the shirts were huge, but those jerseys were still sick when they came out.
Yeah.
Those were so cool.
Yeah.
Even though they're awful on TV, but
yeah,
so cool
in person.
But since we're talking basketball, let's go ahead and talk hoops. The Boilers upset at home Monday by Wisconsin.
And they upset me.
Infuriating game.
I blame Tanner for telling us the stat
I know. Right when I said it,
4 times.
Well, I felt bad when I texted you guys about when we were going to do this podcast. It was like people are going to be amped to watch this podcast, assuming basketball doesn't ruin it, and they freaking did. So this podcast tanks. It's my fault for thinking that.
Johnny Davis goes off for half of Wisconsin's point, 37-74,
which. He's a stud.
He's very good. That was the best performance by an away player I'd seen since Evan Turner back in 2010.
Yeah.
But Davidson's a little punk. He's won every arena now in the Big Ten. This is Wisconsin's first win at Mackey since 2014.
I heard them say that in the first half, I think. And then I think I muted the game with like 12 minutes left. And I'm like, I don't want to hear any more about this.
It was just infuriating. I missed most of the first half doing a podcast. You guys were keeping me filled in what was going on. And then I watched the whole second half and just missed a lot of bunnies. We're getting killed in the offensive boards. We might have won the total by the end of the game, but they were out hustling us. They were giving better effort.
There was a thread on Twitter. Someone kind of went through like our lapses, and we had a lot of guys just standing. It was going back to offensive rebounds, which is what happens. We had a lot of guys standing around. Like you had a couple times where Trey, just looking at the ball and not finding a body to box out. Ivy was guilty of it a couple times. It was, Wisconsin did what they do, which was they make the game ugly, and they played the game going, played in the way that they wanted to play, which is not the way that Purdue plays. And that had it been, reverse, I think we would have run away with it. It really sucks now because I'm listening to a couple podcasts that were recorded before the games, like college basketball, and they're like, oh yeah, Purdue's going to take care of Wisconsin. There's 12.5 one favorite. Yeah, they're not going to have any problems. Like, God damn it.
I know.
What was Purdue at Rutgers? What was the line for that one?
It was in double digits.
Yeah.
Which Rutgers now started to play better ball now.
Stop calling our games.
I know.
I love the guy, but man,
he was on our NC State game too, which took overtime to win.
Yeah.
Ultimate Boiler said, I blame everyone who gloated about IU's loss to Penn State for why we lost. I'm always careful when that stuff happens because I believe it does come around to bite you.
Yeah.
I'm in the group message with another buddy who's a Purdue fan, another one who's an IU fan, and right when Pitt State won the other day, the Purdue fan sent a Penn State GIF to the IU fan. So what's the IU fan do when Wisconsin wins?
Yep.
Since it's a Wisconsin GIF, I'm like, yep, that's pretty well played. That's why I just stay out of it. But it just missed a lot of bunnies. Like I said, I thought one huge play was Jaden had Edey open and fired the pass like 100 miles per hour, 2 feet away from him. Goes through Edey's hands. They get the ball because they capitalized. It seemed like almost every time we turned it over. Davidson hit a big 3 to put him up, I believe. I don't remember how much. It was like with a couple minutes left. That was really, I almost felt like the dagger at the time. Got to get better production out of the point guards. Isaiah Thompson, Eric Hunter just hurting this team really bad.
I mean, you had between Thompson, Sasha, Hunter, I think Newman. I think he had
they were all
10
bad.
points. And Sasha had 8 of them.
Yeah.
Hunter had 2 of them. Yeah, we can't have that, especially when you have Ivy who has to sit for most of the first half with foul trouble. Which I wanted to throw my phone because Davison took a charge, which gave Ivy his second foul, which he was falling before he hit him. But
of course he was.
You're muted, Andrew.
On the fast break, right, where there wasn't even contact.
Classic Davison. But it was just frustrating just because, I mean, and they kind of mentioned during the game too, is like when our offense is not clicking, our defense suffers, which should never be the case. I mean, obviously easier said than done, but this was just so frustrating. Just we've got so much talent, and Brian Newbert has alluded to it before. Is like sometimes I think our awesome offense can be our downfall sometimes because you can kind of. I mean, we saw it with Nichols. Like we should not have given up 90 points to Nichols.
That dude was unconscious for a little while.
He was, which like some of those shots were just stupid, and it was hats off to him for hitting some of them. But it's like that was like an NBA game where it was just I'm fine with it if that's like Michigan, like it was in 2017, 2018 or whatever. But for the fact it's Nichols, I mean, Nichols gave Wisconsin the game without Davis, but it's like we shouldn't do that. If we're who we think we can be, so it was definitely the signs were there, and so we'll see.
Ultimate Boiler said he was at the game Monday, so didn't get a good view. But was that final play a held ball? In your guys' opinion, we all thought it was.
I think we tried to foul. Or it might have been. I think we tried to hold. I honestly was just like so pissed off and kind of flushed. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but I do know that we were trying to foul and they just swallowed their whistle, even though they know we're trying to foul. So I don't know. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I was more frustrated that we couldn't get on that loose ball.
Yeah.
But it was just the hustle plays. They got all the loose balls. Zach Edey pointed to it after the game that he didn't play hard enough and wasn't aggressive enough, and they still hustled us. And Painter on last night on the radio show multiple times he said we have to get tougher and play harder.
Oh yeah, we do. So. Yeah, I mean the fact that that's what worries me. I mean looking way ahead to like a tournament game, like our guards get bullied so easily, and that's very concerning.
Especially now getting into the Big Ten.
Yeah, and just even like looking at a team like Baylor, whose defense is stupid good right now. Like I'm like, if we played them right now, we might lose by 30. Like I don't. That's just me going off one game, and me being mad a couple days later. But that's just. I mean, Isaiah gets bullied a lot. Hunter can get bullied a lot. Sasha can get bumped off. Catching the ball at 35, 40 feet. Ivy's really the only one who can really take it. I mean, obviously Morton's a bigger guard, but he's not a point guard by any means. But that's just there's 17 games left in the Big Ten, so there's plenty of time left. I mean, we've seen this before with Painter teams. We know that Painter teams always get better as the season goes on, but when you've dropped a away game you shouldn't have lost, and you've dropped a home game to a team you should beat. It's very frustrating.
I didn't think we'd lose.
Your one win was a game you had to scratch.
Almost fell apart.
Almost fell apart.
And they were missing their best player.
Right.
I didn't think we'd lose a home game this year, but it just shows you how hard it is to go undefeated at home. That's why Purdue's only done it twice and since Mackey opened, I believe, 2010-11 season, 18-19 season.
Yeah.
But it was just frustrating. Hopefully that's the only one we see at home. And I will say I feel better about Saturday's game at Penn State after a loss than I would have been after a win, because I think this hopefully now has the guys' attention. They did just beat IU. I mean, they should be locked in.
I get that logic, but I feel like the last 6 weeks has been oh, that should wake them up.
Yeah. I know. That's good too, because I feel like they've been in a funk or just walking through the motions casually since they got ranked number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the last couple, especially the non-con game after the Butler game, I feel like they just wanted to get to conference season.
Right.
They just wanted to sick of playing these, incarnate words. Because even in the incarnate word game, we did not look great.
No.
Well, we won by 18 or something.
Yeah, which part of it was this. Our walk-ons aren't great, but God love them.
Chase Martin likes to shoot.
Hey, if he wants to be like his dad, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I just felt like they were just get us the conference season. That's when it really matters. And then if we finally got here and it was all right, now we're gonna do what we do. And it's hold on, hold the brakes, because you're good, but you're not. You can't just expect us to show up and the other team to be afraid of you just because you have that low number next to your name.
I mean, we got to take it one game at a time and just win. But I'm one of those people. I do look ahead the schedule a little bit, and we're at Penn State Saturday. Then we're at Michigan Tuesday. Yeah, Michigan's already got 6 losses. They had 5 all year last year, but Ann Arbor's going to be rocking. Then you got Nebraska at home on Friday, and then the next week's a gauntlet at Illinois, at Indiana, Northwestern at home. A 3-game week. So.
And those 2 road games are going to be. The students are back. It's going to be. Obviously Illinois, they're now probably looking to be the favorite to win the conference as of right now. They had a very impressive win. It was Minnesota, which we really didn't know a whole lot about Minnesota coming into the year, but they were at one point winning by 30. And then obviously Indiana's Indiana. It's a rivalry game. They haven't beat us in a million years. They're going to be amped for it. Woody's first home game.
And also Jackson Davis is probably shooting free throws already for that game.
He'll shoot 40 of them. So it's not gonna be. Even the Michigan game, students will be back for that. It's gonna be they're gonna be probably desperate to get a good win, because right now they before yesterday they were Lenardi's first team out, and they're definitely out now. So they need that quad 1 win badly if they even want to be considered for the tournament right now.
Brian Hannon on Facebook says there have been plenty of opportunities for them to get locked in. I will believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm hoping it's Saturday.
A lot of it starts with the seniors, I think. You got to get Sasha and Trey specifically, and obviously Hunter, which I know Hunter's definitely in a funk. I'm not sure if the coming off the bench is really affecting him more than we thought it would, but those guys need to be locked in 100%.
Yep. First and Newman didn't play at all in the second half the other day, so
nope.
Oh, well, it'll be interesting to see. Is that a sign of things to come, or is that just a 1-game thing? Because I think our rotation eventually will shorten up a little bit.
First didn't play much the second half of the Rutgers game either, right?
Right.
He hasn't played a lot. Since really, I think we came back from Connecticut, he's kind of had some struggles, which freshman, whatever. But hopefully he can find some rhythm. But yeah, I'm worried about Newman. He's a really good shooter. I think he can find it, but it's tough too, because you put these guys in for little spurts to spell someone. It's hard for them to get into a rhythm, and so they try and maybe force some things to get themselves going to hopefully have give the coach a reason to keep them in. But then they force some things and it doesn't work out, and then then things can snowball. So I'm glad I'm not getting paid. I wish I was getting paid multiple $1 million, but not to make these types of decisions.
Yeah, it's the Big Ten season makes me love and hate college basketball at the same time. It's just a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing we've talked about this before, and in other podcasts. The good thing about basketball, there's usually a game pretty quickly versus football. We have to wait Saturday to Saturday. It's like
good point.
You gotta be miserable for a whole freaking week versus there's a Monday, we have a Saturday game, but I'm glad in this case that we do have to wait till Saturday because I'm sure Painter is kicking their ass this week, and
hope so,
and you hope it gets their attention. I mean, that's all you can hope for.
So one thing about Saturday, Shrewsbury knows us better than anybody. So
yep.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And you got Grady Eifert on staff too, so that'll be.
I forgot about that.
That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder if he can play in the manager game. That'd be a good manager game if he could play against PJ and Tommy Luce. Which, why if PJ plays, why can't Spike play? Or maybe he just doesn't play. Because I think Purdue could have. I don't care. Purdue could still have the best manager team. We put Spike, Luce, and PJ on the team.
It's a question.
I don't know. But any other thoughts before we do some sponsor reads to close this pod out about either the bowl game or basketball?
Hell of a football season.
Yeah.
I mean, it already was, 8 wins.
Yeah.
We were hoping just to make a bowl and get the bucket back. But the fact that you've got 2 top 5 wins, one of them being on the road. We won 5 games away from Ross State, which we haven't done since it's been
1943.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you pointed out, Webby, 9 wins this year.
Yeah, Brom won as many games as the Hazel era, which is which then it sent everybody back into a time capsule.
Yeah, how the hell did we survive those 4 years? It's unbelievable. It's funny. I watch a lot of Barstool Sports has The Dozen. It's a trivia show multiple times a week, and they'll do college football stuff. And a lot of times, trivia questions are like 2013 to 16. I look at my dad. I'm like, we were so awful. I didn't even pay attention to the rest of the college football landscape because it took my interest out of everything. So I don't remember those years.
It was just I had no interest in any other game. I mean, I remember sitting in the stands of us just getting our teeth kicked in by Wisconsin by it was 1,000,000-3 or something.
Literally.
I don't remember. It was pouring rain, questioning every decision I've ever made. Why did I go to school here? Why didn't I go to Ohio State or something? I don't know. But then this makes it all worth it.
It does. It does.
And to finally be back in Ross State after a year was awesome, and to witness the amazingness that is David Bell. AOC was a revelation.
Yep. I mean, he's turned into one of my favorite Boilers of all time.
Went to being, he's a great backup. He's a starter backup. He's obviously not gonna light the world on fire, but then he went to literally lighting the world on fire, and so now he's now the talks of unlike Michael Penix being the second best QB in the Big Ten, if not the best. Obviously. So, yeah, can't wait to play Ohio State and Indy next year.
Oh man, you're getting me excited now. I do want them to get Jeff pen to paper on a new contract.
That's the big thing. It's just
get it done, please.
I think I tweeted from our accounts he better have had a new contract on his desk by the time he got back to West Lafayette.
It wouldn't shock me if wheels are in motion behind the scenes, or if something's done and they just wait for a while to announce it.
Yeah, and I'm sure this whole Lambert thing kind of put a wrench in some things, but you'd think that obviously our wish list is new contract for Jeff, bigger assistant coach's salary pool, and just keep as many guys, and hopefully we've had a few departures since the bowl game, but hopefully nobody too significant.
Right.
And the basketball, just win a freaking game. Just win. Just go on. Just win 17 straight, and we'll be fine. This game won't matter.
You're right. You're right.
We did it in 17-18. So
a lot of the analysts aren't worried yet. So I'm like, okay, they know more than I do. And I always like to be a believer of the saying, things are never as good as they appear, never as bad as they appear.
Yeah.
So,
now, if we lose Saturday, oh boy,
I'm staying off the message boards for ever if we lose Saturday. Yeah. So, this podcast will be fired up next week if we lose Saturday. So, but Saturday, game's at noon, lunchtime. You're going to be hungry. So make sure you get some pizza from Mad Mushroom. But also, they got a deal that's out just for today. Today is National Keto Day.
Huh.
There are a lot of keto diets going on. So you can get a crustless pizza bowl. It's their traditional pizza sauce with your choice of up to 3 toppings covered with mozzarella cheese and baked together in a bowl. So you can get that. And that's it starts at $10. And also, being January, it's 2022. It's a new month. The January pizza of the month is the Killer Bees barbecue sauce topped with chicken, bacon, banana peppers, and mozzarella cheese, finished with a ranch swirl and served with a side of ranch, starting at $14. So you can get 2 of those pizzas and you can save $5 off your order, since it would be over $20. Because if you tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you, or if you use coupon code BREAK5 for $5 off any order over $20. Of course, Mad Mushroom's been in the heart of West Lafayette and serving Boilermakers since 1993. Get yourself some cheese sticks or any of those pizzas like I mentioned. Make sure you use that discount code at their website, madmushroom.com. Mad Mushroom, feed your head. And Webby, if you're like me, you got some money for Christmas you're looking to spend.
Yes, sir.
The shop's got a abundance of Purdue merchandise and apparel to buy.
Absolutely. And if you're being Indiana, if you're a Colts fan, Colts looking to have probably clinch a playoff spot this Saturday or Sunday. Wait, did they play Sunday or did they play
Sunday? If they lose to the Jaguars, they don't deserve to make the playoffs.
But Shops came out with a new shirt. I think that was a redesign of an old classic where they say "run the damn ball." So if you're a Colts fan, go check out their website. And if you use code Breakdown, you get 20% off any order. They still got obviously all the NIL shirts for all the Purdue athletes. They came out with 3 new Purdue Pete shirts right before Christmas. I got 2 of them for Christmas. I love them. Although I wore one for the first time yesterday or on Monday, so maybe not wear it again for a while. I gotta wash.
You're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it.
My dad is big time.
There was a while where I would wear the same shirt to a basketball game until we lost.
Oh yeah.
So so I got to. I got a different shirt. That I wore for the Music City Bowl for the first time.
You'd be doing a lot of laundry then in a few weeks, and we've got 3 games. And Purdue has 3 games in 1 week.
Yes. Visit the shopindy.com. If they've got anything Purdue, if you got obviously Andrew being a Butler grad, they've got awesome Butler stuff. I'm actually kind of jealous of some of the Butler stuff. Andrew, you were at the Butler game a couple days ago, and the shop was doing the t-shirt toss.
They've been doing it now, maybe for just the Big East. They're throwing out like shop shirts. And I was like, wow.
They do that at Purdue because I will trample a kid to get one.
I was just saying, Evan's going to take out a kid. He's going to go
sit low enough. I might do it.
Yeah.
It's much better than the double XL whatever generic shirts that they sell. So they
some sponsored double XL that nobody really wants.
Yeah, so it's super soft shirts, great quality. They have drinkware. They've got if you're a Pacer fan, sorry about your luck. I'm a Bulls fan. It's a great game on New Year's Eve.
They are just worthless to watch.
But
they got
shopping.com.
Cool things,
cool, awesome. If you're in the Indy area, they got a brick and mortar store in Broad Ripple. They got one at Clay Terrace and Carmel. Check them out. Good people. Purdue owned.
Ultimate Boiler said he's wearing his Boilermaker special shirt to every basketball game until Monday night.
Burn it.
Yep, time for a new shirt.
Well, it's funny about going back to that shirt or going to that game. My sister took my dad's and I's tickets, and she brought her boyfriend to the game, who was a Purdue grad, but he actually never went to a game when he was a student. So this was his first basketball game. Apparently, he was having the time of his life, but I told her he can't go anymore.
Nope, sorry, Gabe, you're done.
Done. She can't go to a game. This is her first game of the year, and they're not going back anymore.
That's what I did to my girlfriend in football season. She went to Wisconsin. Nope, done. Just kidding. If she's listening to this, she's going to kill me. So, Andrew, what's Schroff Landscaping got going on?
Yes, sir. Schroff Landscaping has been in business for over 50 years. You can handle all of your landscaping needs. So when you come out in the spring, they can help you out with some landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, and they are licensed lawn applicators. You can contact them today at 574-223-2769.
And this podcast is also brought to you by Webb's Family Pharmacy. Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is providing flu shots and COVID-19 shots by appointment. So you can go online or give them a call to set up their appointment, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check out their website, webrx.com, or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, professional pharmacy with the hometown touch. And all these businesses are boiler-owned and operated.
One last thing I just saw from the Boiler Ball Twitter, there's we're only school with 3 players on the Wooden Award top 25 midseason watch list. Ivy, Trey, and Edie.
That's awesome. Ultimate Boiler there says, my wife's first football game was Ohio State in 2018. I told her, I don't know if you'll ever want to come back. It can't get any better than this.
And my girlfriend went to that game as an IU grad. She went to the Ohio State game. She saw the IU Purdue basketball game with when Romeo was on IU when they were like they started like their 30 game skid or something like that. It was amazing. But my dad told her she can come back to any game she wants.
Oh, good times, good times. Well, fellas, this has been a fun podcast, even though we did have to talk a little down about the
Wisconsin sucks.
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
Andrew.
Well said. Well said. That should be the title of this podcast. Wisconsin sucks, but instead it's the Boilers win a classic in Nashville, because that's how I'm remembering this podcast. Because
drink up those Tennessee Volunteers.
Rocky Top, the tune of Rocky Top. They'll always be crybabies to me. You lost an OT. With that, let's boiler up, hammer down, beat the Nittany Lions.
Boiler up.